Hi everyone, in this video I am going to explain to you the concept of prefab in Unity. First of all, we are going to look at a bit of theory, then I will show you practically that how prefab system work in Unity. Unity prefab system allow you to create, configure and store a game object complete with all its component, property values and child game object as a reusable asset. If you want to reuse a game component in other games, you can simply create a prefab out of it. The prefab asset acts as a template from which you can create new prefab instances in a scene. Well, when you create a prefab, it's just like a template from which you can create multiple prefab instances, which will act as a game object in your scene. When you want to reuse a game object configured in a particular way, like a non-player character, prop or piece of scenery. By non-player character, we meant like a tree in a game or a vase in a game that you are going to use multiple times. Okay? So in multiple places in your scene or across multiple scenes in your project, you should convert it to prefab. That is easy to change them. This is better than simply copying and pasting the game object because the prefab system allows you to automatically keep all the copy in sync. So it's better to create prefab rather than copying and pasting game object in your scene. Next, I will show you the demo of prefab. Okay, here on this scene you can see we have 3 cube game objects which are individual game objects. If I want to change, these are all same game objects that I have copied. If I want to change all of them in one way, I will have to go to each of them to change their dimensions. So that will be a difficult process for changing every game object. Prefab make it easy for us to change all the game objects that are associated with one prefab. For example, I want to make a prefab. It's very easy to make a game object prefab. You just have to drag and drop it in the folder you want to make a prefab. For example, I have this one game object. I will change its scale on the y-axis and I will add a sphere on top of it. Now a sphere is added to this game object like this. Okay. Now this is a game object. Now I want to use this same game object, 10 different copies of this same game object in my game. One way is I will have to copy it and I will have to paste it every time. Now I have made many same copies of this one game object. These are simple copies of a game object. Now if I want to change all these game object, for example, I want all these game object to change in same way, like I want to have this sphere a bit inside this cube. So I will have to go to each of these game object to change the sphere placement. That will be a very difficult process. Easiest way will be, I will go back and now I have this thing. I will just have to drag and drop this into any of this folder and this will become a prefab. Now if I want to use the same game, I will copy paste this prefab and these all game objects are now linked to this one specific prefab that is being saved in the prefab folder. Now, as I have told, I want to change all these game objects. What I will have to do is, I will have to simply, I will just place them on the scene view on different places. So you will get the idea that how we can change a prefab. Okay. These are all prefabs or game object that are linked to this one prefab. I will just open this prefab from the folder and I will change it. I will delete the sphere from it, and I will add another 3D game object. I will add a cube on top of it that will have a bit more width on x-axis and z-axis. And I have changed this prefab. When I'm going to save it, I will go back to my scene view. You can see that all these game objects that are linked to one prefab are changed now. This is how we can create a prefab and we can change a prefab. You just have to change the saved prefab, and the change will be reflected in all the instances of that prefab that are linked to it. Thank you.